Good morning, Miss Gracia, teaching aides, and dear colleagues. Today we're going to talk about certain aspects of plagiarism. I'm Andres Lemus, code 19004.
I'm Sebastian Gutierrez with a code 19157.
My name is Roberto Garcia and I'm 19084. Okay, so we're going to start talking about what's plagiarism. Well, according to plagiarism.org, plagiarism is the act of copying someone else's work and passing it as yourself without giving them credit for the job they did. Uh, Plagiarize goes way ahead of that. It means to steal. It can include to steal off or pass ideas as your own, to use another's productions without crediting to the source, to commit literary theft, which is literally just copying and pasting from some book, to present new and original an idea or product derived from an existing source. Plagiarism is basically the act of fraud. It involves stealing someone else's work and lying about it afterwards. Uh, some people don't commit the mistake that they don't think plagiarism as turning someone else's work, or maybe they think about copying and pasting as not being plagiarism. But also failing to put quotation in quotation marks can be considered plagiarism. Giving the wrong information about where you got that information is plagiarism. Changing the words but copying the sentence structure without giving credit is plagiarism. And copying so many words and ideas from the source that it makes up the majority of your work without giving credit, that's plagiarism. Also, plagiarism doesn't only apply to literary elements and words, it also applies to images, videos, and music. For example, if you use a music or an image file or a video without permission from the person that produced it or recorded it, and you just place it there without the proper quotations or the citation, is plagiarism. For example, many people commit the mistakes of copying media, especially images, from websites into their own work without proper citing. That's plagiarism. Making a video contains footage from other websites to put them in your website. That's plagiarism. Performing another person's copyright music, for example, if you are making a cover of a song that and you don't give credit to the original author or the label, that's plagiarism. Or to compose a piece of music that heavily relies on another composition, that's considered plagiarism. And see, the problem is plagiarism is so vast, people don't know what's plagiarism. Really, they don't think they're doing something wrong. But the problem is people don't read, and that's our goal this year. Make sure people know what plagiarism is and know how to avoid it.
So some people actually rely on plagiarism due to the fact that some teachers allow it. This is a case that we read from on Blackboard, that a student was so used to committing plagiarism and their teachers not doing anything about it, that once a teacher actually penalized the student, she felt it was actually unfair. And that's a big problem because students actually get used to plagiarizing most of their work, and they do not become creative enough. Also, a lot of students commit plagiarism because they do not find interest in the topic they are writing about. Also, this can be this I see this can make the students feel as if the classes they are receiving are not fair, because of the same thing I already said, because some teachers allow it, most of the teachers allow it, and only a few do not. That's also a big problem with the teaching system that we have. Some students do not know they are committing plagiarism because of the lack of information that they have. They think that if they just change a few words, it will just be like if it was theirs, and that's not how it is. They have to, if they get an idea from a reading, a video, or something, they have to give credit to the actual author of the writing, the book, whatever it is. And there are some basic ways to avoid plagiarism. And my colleague here is gonna talk about some ways to avoid it.
Well, first of all, we have to remind that the problem is that students tend to rely on the internet and not on their own knowledge and ideas. They should be smarter and start applying their own knowledge and imagination in order to say something, but using their own words. That's the first way to avoid plagiarism. Use your own words. You can also uh, cite words said by another author, or cite images, videos, or even songs in a correct way using APA style. And there's a famous quote from the book The Lightning Thief of Percy Jackson and the Olympians, said by Rick Riordan. It says, "All I could think of was that the teachers must have found the illegal stash of candy I'd been selling out of my dorm room. Or maybe they realized I got my essay on Tom Sawyer from the internet without ever reading the book, and now they were going to take away my grade. Or worse, they were going to make me read the book." There are many students that tend to be
Related, lazy.
that tend to be lazy, and they don't like reading, and that's why they tend to plagiarize, because that's an easier way for them to fill out the page, and what they should do is read many documents in order to have wider information and have more things to say about a certain topic.
So, just to
Wrap it up.
wrap it up, we're just gonna say a few things that each of us think that plagiarism actually is and how we should avoid it. One last, ¿cómo se dice consejo?
Advice.
One last advice from each of us. So I would tell you to give your time work, even if it's not interesting. If you don't like it, give it time. Do not try to do it at the last minute. No, ahora solo decir eso y voy a terminar con un consejo.
Well, another advice that I could say to all the students is to look for more information on the internet, use books, don't just rely on a certain page from the internet. Search for interesting things and use your own words when doing your work.
My biggest advice would be trying to avoid plagiarism. Just changing the structure of a sentence or a paragraph is not the best way to go. That's still plagiarism, and it will still be detected. Even though you think you changed a couple words, what you have to think is you have to think of changing the idea or citing the correct idea. And I have a quote from Miroslav Volf. He said, "In a way, the fraud in business is no different from infidelity in marriage or plagiarism in scholarly work. Even people committed to high moral standards succumb. Don't be the kind of people that makes fraud in small things such as plagiarizing an essay or plagiarizing bigger things in the future." And
So to wrap it up, as Mokokoma Mokonoana said, plagiarism is the fear of a blank page.
No, you should fill it out with your own words. Thank you.